Are you ready now?
Yep.
Because the camera's ready.
January 17th.
No, we can't be podcast 17th if it's January 17th. How did we catch up?
You're the
It's gotta be
podcast.
18?
You're the podcast tracker.
Does it say right there? Did she put up a
You're
note?
the podcast.
Did she put a note right there? What does it say?
18.
Oh, it's 18 then. All right.
All right. Thursday, January 17th, 5:43 p.m. 81% battery. Podcast episode 18.
2020.
Anything you want to talk about? Where were we? Where did we go today?
We went to
glorious
I don't
Wonderland.
like to like. I don't
It's
like talking about that
It's like
place.
an amusement park where all the rides
Yeah.
could totally function, but there's nothing left. There's no electricity.
All
the rides are there. The skeletons are there. It's
Yeah.
like the last dinosaur just died.
It's actually sad. When I go there, I get sad. I get sad when I see all that stuff that's just dripping. It's just melting. It's just melting. Its life is just. It's ending in the back of those trucks.
It's like a giant. It's like 20 acres of surplus Wonderland.
Yeah, I mean, all
But the roof. It's like going into a building that had every. If everything you wanted was inside this building,
yeah.
All your exotic cars, your high-end electronics, all your fucking custom tailored clothing, but then the roof fell off, and they didn't fix it for 10 years. That's what going to that building is like.
That's what it's like, especially when it's raining out, and I see all that stuff just out there in the rain. I'm like, just give it to the Boy Scouts or something. But I will say that they have two young men working there
that are awesome.
Have since they started. I don't know if it's since they started working there, but
I want to steal the little one.
But those boys have put in some time and effort to organize that place and get that gear all squared away. I mean, it's 100% better inside.
He could drive here and work, and on the way to work every day, he
bring
could
an isomat.
He could listen to one podcast.
Oh, listen to one podcast. I was thinking every day he brings one isomat.
One isomat. We just bought another couple hundred of them. Another
100.
So I've got some comments from last night's video, or this morning's video, or yesterday's video.
Oh, I do have something I want to say.
What do you want to say?
Because you guys...
Disco?
No. Look, man. Okay, you know when the pistol brace first came out, and everybody's like, can we put it on our shoulder? Can't we put it on our shoulder? Can we put it on our shoulder?
Keep asking.
And then
once they say no, you can't say you didn't know.
You know, so like the ATF came out, and they're like, fuck you guys, stop calling, no, you can't put it in your shoulder. And then, of course, later on, they came back out and said, well, it's a pistol, I guess you can. Because everybody stopped calling. It's the same thing with Jaeger, man. He loves bullpups, but when you guys are fucking, boom, bullpup, he doesn't want to hear about it anymore. So, you tone it down on the bullpups, the class will be coming soon.
It's just like all these years, James Jaeger's like 1911 sucks. He's actually a secret 1911 collector. Closet
1911 guy.
But you can't go tell him. You can't rub that in his face.
Yeah, you can't rub it in his face because he's in all the fanboy Glock forums and stuff. And if they found out, you know how Glock guys are. If they found out, they would immediately kick him out of those forums. So you got to keep it on the down low.
You know when you go to your friend's house, you haven't seen him in a couple of years. And he's like, "Let me show you my thing." And you go out in the garage and he's got like his brand new Corvette or his brand new Ferrari or whatever. That's James with his 1911 collection.
Yeah,
he's got them in shadow boxes and
they're nice
1911.
Nice.
All right, Rob Pridemore. Guy died, went to heaven. God says he will answer one question. The guy asked who killed Kennedy. God replied, it was Lee Harvey Oswald acting alone. The guy shakes his head and whispers, this goes higher up than I thought. The point to that is that in the conspiracy theory world, that you don't want the truth. The truth could be right in front of your face. We could show you the truth, or whoever. You could watch us do something, and then we tell you that's not what happened because you want a more grandiose story. But we all know Lee Harvey Oswald didn't shoot fucking Kennedy, or if he did,
it was those two male models from the grassy knoll. Everybody knows this.
Everybody knows that. The hand model.
They totally explain it in.
Hand model keeps his hand in an oxygen tank.
So nobody can.
Another great podcast. I've been listening to them on the drives to work every morning. And then another guy says, you must have a long drive to work. Here in the UK, most folks don't have that long of a drive. I assume you're in the US. Anyhow, I'd be late for work if I was listening to the prior to work. All the best. But don't you guys have like trains and trolleys and shit in England? Merry old England?
Daniel Marshall, thanks for watching the podcast from the UK. It's
Send
all
us-
perspective.
Send us some antiquities.
It's all perspective. You live on an island, so there's really not that far to drive.
And it's always foggy. So
And
it
we're-
really should take longer to drive.
It's like, imagine take the tunnel, flip on over to Europe, try not to go through France because they got all that trouble with the yellow shirts going on, but then cruise into Russia and just drive around Russia. That's what it's like in the United States. We are vast open spaces.
Some of it.
We can drive pretty far.
We can drive far. There's people that have a 90-minute, 2-hour commute through a lot of nothingness. And then there's other people that have a 2-hour commute that only move 30 miles.
30 miles, yeah.
Like when I would leave San Diego and drive to Oceanside, it's a 32-mile drive. If I did that at 9 in the morning, it was a 35, 40-minute drive. If I did that anywhere from 6 to 8:30 in the morning, it was a fucking 90-minute drive sometimes.
Look at the interesting thing about the United States is it is a lot like the first 13 colonies are a lot like Europe in the sense of, look at the size of those colonies. They're dinky. The first 13 states, they're all dinky. All the states on the East Coast are small because they didn't really, when they got here, they didn't really know how big the United States really was.
They also didn't know how many people were coming.
So if you look at a map of the United States, the East Coast, there's all kinds of states on the East Coast. The further west you get, the more they're like, oh, fuck it, just everything you can see.
That's because those guys settling that are like, we don't want that bullshit we just left.
That's like, you go to the West Coast of the United States, there's 3 states. That's it. There's 3 states that get to look at the Pacific Ocean.
This dude says, Jaeger wasn't happy tonight on the live stream when everyone brought up Bullpups. Laughed my ass off. Thanks for another great podcast. I didn't see it happen. I was actually sewing, and people were PMing me telling me. Our intention was, like, not to upset James, obviously. Fucking, we love
And if
James.
he got upset over Bullpups, come on,
upset.
James.
He
Come on,
probably wasn't
James.
upset.
You really don't hate Bullpups.
And we have Bullpup slings. If you guys have Bullpups, let us know. We also have Bullpup specific gear, so just throw out your favorite Bullpup.
He gets
That's
the
what
reason why
we should do a whole series of Bullpup patches.
Bullpup patches. Honestly, the truth be told, the reason why James doesn't like Bullpups is because when he was in the French Foreign Legion and they issued him the FAMAS is not a very good bullpup. So,
That's true.
you know, back when he was in Algeria fighting the communists, that wasn't a very good bullpup, and that's kind of why he has that bad taste in his mouth.
I don't know if my favorite Bullpup's really a Bullpup.
What's your favorite bullpup?
It's more of a carriage system or chassis.
Chassis.
It's a battle chassis system. James likes it when you say weapons platform system.
Weapons platform
But
system.
I would go with the corner shot.
The
for
corner
massive
shot.
amount
Is that
of
really a
kill
bullpup
shots.
though?
Well, you put your pistol in it.
And then
and
doesn't the pistol turn around the corner?
I can push the button and it automatically goes choo choo. It actually says that. It goes choo choo.
I think it does too. Yeah.
You hear the little servos going choo choo, and you can corner shot left or right or up over walls. Like I would put a periscope,
Hey,
like a tank periscope, on my corner shot.
You put your pistol in the. I don't know anything about the corner shot.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But you put your pistol in the corner shot, right?
I think it takes. Yeah, I think you have to put.
Or
your
is
own
it or is the corner shot itself
weapon.
the gun?
I don't think there's a gun. Maybe both ways.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Because I don't have one. So if you got a corner shot at your house, I'd really like to see it. Unless it's federally regulated, then I don't care.
Yeah, because it's putting a stock on a pistol.
Oh yeah, putting a stock on a pistol. I bet it is regulated. That's some bullshit.
Bro, the Western Union idea was fucking genius. I'm on board, and it was priceless. Great idea. Do you like the emphasis I
It was
put in
good,
there?
but
It
what was the
good.
Western Union idea?
You said we could pay for the wall. Just tax.
Oh yeah, tax all the money
tax
going
all
across
Western
the
Union
yep.
transfers. I'm surprised the government doesn't tax those. They have to in some way.
Oh, I'm sure there's no. You know what? I don't think there are any taxes on cash transfers from the United States into Mexico. But if you put a 3% tax on
I'm
that, you
surprised
would
there's
pay.
not a handling fee on our side that the government
But I think there's a
collects.
handling. I think Western Union has a
Sure
handling
they do,
fee.
but I'm surprised the government doesn't somehow tax that transfer somehow.
Well, I don't think they. And I may be totally wrong. If you work at Western
Like
Union,
your
go ahead.
gasoline. Over half the price of your gas is fucking taxes.
I don't think they can tax it. Because technically, it's your money. You're just transferring it. So I mean,
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying. I don't think because it should have already been taxed, But if they're working here illegally, it was never taxed in the first place, so why not tax it there?
What's your favorite word?
My favorite word? I don't know if I have a favorite. I like using them all.
Say shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Say it with but you have to say it with like a...
Shenanigans?
No, like a leprechaun accent.
I don't know my leprechaun.
Say it, pretend Cormac OHanlon is saying it.
I can't do Cormac, I cannot do, the only stuff I can do with Cormac OHanlon is 3:30 in the morning. 3:30.
3:30.
3:30 in the morning.
3:30. When I reach under the pillow and the knife cuts through my hand at 3:30.
3:30 in the morning. That's
you remember when he fucking sliced his hand almost off?
Yeah.
You got any more? While we're on Cormac, you got any good Cormac stories?
I don't have a story, but I do have a t-shirt idea, front and back. You know what I'm talking about.
Have you seen those fucking dogs he has?
Yes, he's got huge dogs, and he really wants us to make him a dog bed.
A dog bed
Cover.
Do you know that I have 3 Sealy Posturepedic dog foam inserts in there?
Yeah.
I got him to make dog beds.
He actually sent
but
me...
he needs to get a fucking horse pillow.
He sent me the dimensions of this
and they're the
dog
size
bed.
of a queen size bed?
Yeah, they're huge, and it's not like a dog, for whatever reason, he sent it to me. He sent me the dimensions, and it's got like this hump in the back, and so
his dog doesn't get a crook neck.
All the dimensions too, and I'm like, John's never gonna sew this. He's never gonna build this.
Too bad Belt Girl's not around. She would have built it.
Oh man, Belt Girl would have built the shit out of it.
She'd have had a fucking air conditioner and a fucking heater in it.
Yeah, you wouldn't have got it for 4 years, but she'd have built the shit out of it.
So, does he have great... I thought he told me they're Great Danes, but you thought they're Irish Wolfhounds.
They're Irish Wolfhounds.
Does he feed them like human beings?
He doesn't feed them... Well, he may, but he does, like, all the hunts that they do in Texas every year, the pig hunts.
Oh, okay.
They actually freeze that shit up and send it to him so he can feed him fucking...
Did you go to ninja class with us? Were you at
ninja
school?
I don't think I was at ninja
in Dwayne's backyard?
No, definitely not.
So, I'm thinking like split-toed shoes and throwing stars and shit. He's like, no, you have to learn the basics first. So he wants you to run and do somersaults, except you don't do a somersault like you or I would do a somersault. You have to jump up in the air, do a somersault, and then land, preferably on your feet, but I never quite made it to my feet. I was lucky to get past my head or my neck.
Yeah.
I was really lucky to land on my back, maybe, but usually it involves some head trauma or some fucking neck injury.
Like real...
no bullshit.
He is a real certified, went to Japan ninja. Real ninja. One time, this was, God, it's been 10 years. We were at a bar, and I flipped him off. I just flipped him off. And he grabbed my fucking finger and did not bend it or didn't put any physical effort onto my finger, but did some fucking witchcraft, like you see in the movies where he was like, doop, 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 did some witchcraft on my hand. Every time it's cold outside or my fucking finger always hurts, and I always think of that motherfucker.
Oh shit. Okay. Because somebody said Skully said shenanigans. Right on, Skully. If I woulda went somewhere with my government credit card and couldn't account for $1,000, I'd be in charges. Haha, true that.
It's fucking true. It's fucking true that it's always the underlings that pay for the most. I was just listening to a podcast about war atrocities today. They're actually talking about Manchuria and all the Chinese that the Japanese killed. And they were talking about war atrocities.
Project 73 and all that shit.
Yeah, and they brought up My Lai, the war atrocities that we committed in Vietnam.
What was
it? They just basically went off the hinge. They had a rifle platoon go into and just killed 300 Vietnamese just to kill them.
Shit, we kill people with a fucking train wreck by accident.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing.
We wiped out a whole town up the road.
They're arguing about who was responsible. They're arguing about who was responsible. And they keep talking about, well, when the troops go off the fucking rails, when troops go off the rails and they just wholesale kill people, there's nothing you can do about it. Well, the truth be told, no matter what the situation is, no matter where you're at, that is a total leadership failure. It's a total leadership failure. And the people responsible for it are the people above the ones that did it. They are responsible. That's why you get all that shit on your collar, because you become instantly responsible for everything your troops do. Now, in the military, that usually only applies to E6s and below. After that, it's, oh, it wasn't my fault. And that's kind of the same thing with this government bullshit. All the fucking underlings, they're total. You have to be totally responsible for a $1,000 credit card. But Senator Fuckface, oh, I don't know where those millions of dollars went. They're not accountable. It's not their fault. Same thing with the Department of Defense. Now, I know why the Department of Defense is missing $21 trillion. Because they're spending it on shit that we haven't seen yet. There's a fucking... there's an airplane that takes off...
toilet seats.
Yeah, that takes off vertically, flies into space, takes a picture of Putin's butthole, and then flies back. That's what they're spending that money on. But we should still be able to hold them accountable. Why can't they just go...
Black box.
It's we had to build a satellite that can fucking shoot down the North Korean satellite because they're getting ready to fucking EMP our asses with their satellite. Everybody would be like...
It's been up there since 1996.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right. But we don't hold them accountable. That's the problem. But they hold everybody else accountable. It's kind of like, don't pay your taxes and see what happens.
Yeah. Don't pay your registration on your truck even though you've lived in another state for 2 years.
Like Al Sharpton owes $11 million in taxes. He's owed $11 million in taxes for almost 8 years. Why isn't he in jail? Anybody? Hell, they rolled up Wesley Snipes and put his ass in jail. Why isn't Al Sharpton in jail? Because
or Willie Nelson.
Or Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson had to make those tapes. But it's because he has political collateral. He can use that political collateral to keep from having to go to jail or pay his fucking taxes.
When you guys start podcasting from the studio, will you have guests on the show?
Are you saying we couldn't have guests in here?
Yeah, well, this is the studio number one, and who would want to come? Like, we're just standing here talking. Who wants to come on the show? Who do you guys want to see on the show? Who do you want on the show? I kind of thought we would just rent fucking different vehicles or take different vehicles. I'd rather steal them. Really, that'd be more fun if we were getting pursued at the same time, like a hot pursuit. While we just drive around and evade and then have podcasts.
But could we have Nunu steal the vehicle so then we're just unwitting passengers?
We're like, yeah, that wasn't us.
No, we were.
I'm an E7.
Yeah, that wasn't us. We were just unwitting. We didn't know he stole the car.
Yeah,
we were just going for a ride.
I say we get an exotic car sponsor. I could probably get our guy in Atlanta to just give us a different car once a week, and we just drive around in it. And plus, we'll throw in props. Like, it's where I buy all my cars from, so somebody's bound to buy one.
Yeah, that might work.
Roger Everson. They don't have a studio. We're in a studio right now.
Yeah, this is a studio. We have lighting. We have sound equipment.
We actually have. There's probably 20 different fucking cameras in the building. There's all like, they have no idea. Like, there is a lot of shit here. We're just not fucking... We're not going to use it. You want a podcast? Here's your fucking podcast you guys kept asking for. Eric Ovale. I heard them say they had multiple podcasts that they're building on multiple podcasts. We are. That's me. That's fucking failure to execute again.
What were we building?
The studio in the back corner.
Oh, studio. We don't need a studio.
I want to do the fucking garage before we do that, where we can actually film back there and not have all that fucking...
I think
let's build an awesome fucking gym out there. It's 4,000 feet. We can put a great fucking personal gym in 4,000 feet. Rubber mats, mirrors, everything. And then we'll put red neon light everywhere. That'd be just fucking perfect. So everything looks pink. And we'll play some, like, I don't know, 1970s fucking classic rock.
Ultimate rock, yeah.
Fucking hate classic rock. That's why all those dudes are just sitting around, because their estrogen is spiked so much they have no energy to actually fucking lift any weights while they're there. That's clearly what's happening. I mean, you even have young guys. There's like 20-year-old kids in there. Man, it was so easy when I lived with mom. Yeah, motherfucker, you're going to spend the next 20 years fucking off too. And when you're 40, you're going to be like, I wish I'd have done something with that 20 fucking years. And you're going to remember that dude in the gym that said, yeah, stop being a piece of shit and fucking stand the fuck up and do some shit, you little fucking bastard.
Yeah, he won't. He'll still be living with mom.
I don't remember seeing those videos. All these guys going back and forth. I think they should do it up top remember when they used to film sitting at the lounge area? There's too much shit up there. There's the sound is fucking not good upstairs. It is much better in here. There's a lot of stuff going on all around that you still hear upstairs. I would really use one of those side rooms, but the side rooms are too fucking long and skinny. This works right here. And really, we don't give a fuck where you guys think we should do it. If you want to come in here, what?
Ultimately, the truth be told, right now, this room is the best for sound quality. If we were anywhere else out there, you would hear sewing machines.
And the reality of it is, like, Jeff's ready to go home. He's like, hey, we need to do a podcast. I'm like, you ready to do a podcast? He's like, fuck, I guess so. And the same thing, like today, like, I was seriously just going to not do a fucking podcast. Jeff's like, let's do the podcast. We haven't missed one yet. Do you guys want fucking podcasts, or do you want some fucking pretty scenery? Because if you want pretty scenery, watch the fucking live feed videos I do every night.
Maybe we can get some paintings and put them on the door. So like
a man and a woman.
I'm just thinking like
with
a
butler
meadow.
out on
Yeah.
dancing in the on the
I was
fucking
thinking
surf
like
side.
a meadow or something, a good sunset.
A green screen. I don't remember seeing those videos, but I've been watching them for a couple months now. Pizzagate is real. I really think it is fucking real. Pizzagate is real. The people benefiting from child trafficking would donate to to her organization. John, check out, if you haven't already, David Seaman at Fulcrum News weaponized the FBI. I saw that. That was a fucking really good video. It's on YouTube. And I believe Trump is listening to his advisors too much. And then they got the notes. Even Bill Clinton and Skully, I believe we are still trying to get the Middle Eastern Union together. Right, John? Building 7 and the policy had a district tariffs clause in it. They're on vacation. That's the one I'm talking about, weaponizing the FBI. And he's talking about the dude, the whistleblower from the NSA. Who has been on a public speaking tour all over the world. They will not fucking... he's not getting an audience in the United States. He's getting an audience. Congress didn't want to hear what he had to say. He was at Parliament. He was in Australia. He was well received in Australia, India. That's the dude. Did you have anything for that?
Well, as far as that Pizzagate goes, look up... I think his name is Geoffrey Eckhart, or Eckley, or... Anyways, if you just look up
Ickel? Is it the dude that does all the Agenda 21 shit?
No. He is
that dude's really good too.
This guy was a financial genius. He was a financial genius way in the early 80s. He taught math initially, and then somebody on Wall Street was like, "Hey, you're doing all this crazy math. You should come to Wall Street." He ended up getting to a point, and this is, I want you to think about this. In the 1980s, he had no clients that were worth less than $1 billion in 1980. Like, we weren't even... $1 billion was not even on the radar. He would not take any clients less than $1 billion. Really good investor. What he would do, though, is it was mostly people that inherited money, so they would inherit like the Rockefeller fortune or whatever. It was mostly those people that he would take on as clients, and he would be like, "All right, you can be my client. You're signing over everything. You have no rights. I'm going to tell you where this is going to go, how it's going to go. The only thing you get to do is cash checks. That's it." And he had a pretty heavy clientele of people. Well, needless to say, he became rich and powerful. And he met a lot of people. In I think it was 2005. A very young lady, ended up she was going to a school where troubled teens would go. And
we used to call those asylums.
Yeah. Well, she's going to this school where troubled teens are going, and she's got $300 cash money. And everybody's giving her a hard time about this. Where you get the $300 from? Well, long story short, this dude, Geoffrey, God, I think it's Eckhart or Eckley, or... Anyways, for 20 years, he had girls going out and recruiting underage girls to come to his house so he could have sex with them. This is also the dude that has the island in the Virgin Islands where the rich and famous would go to this island and party. Well, everybody says that he was running a child pedophile ring. They had at least when law enforcement investigated, they had 80 confirmed cases of
abduction.
Not abduction, but sexual predatory behavior on minors.
On the island or on him?
On him at his house in Florida. But the interesting thing is, he gets caught. The U.S. government, the federal government, gives him a deal that is so sweet. You just look it up. You won't believe that they gave this guy this deal after all the evidence they had. He did. I want to say he did. He was convicted of. He was convicted of soliciting prostitution. He did 13 months.
Which shouldn't even be fucking illegal unless it's a minor thing.
They changed it. So he did 13 months in Dade County's minimum security wing, where he was the only person in that wing. He was released every day to go to work for 12 hours. And then he would return. Like, this guy got the sweetest sweetheart deal in the world. Just to give you an idea why, some of the people confirmed, definitely Bill Clinton went to the island several times. And there's some other people, but it's actually a really good story that ties right into all this Pizzagate, in the sense that once you get to a certain level in the pyramid, because remember, it's a pyramid. Once you get to a certain level, everybody knows each other. Like, there's not a billion. I am sure that there is not a billionaire. Like, I'll bet all the Chinese, the Chinese probably, I'm guessing they have the most, but there's no Chinese billionaires that do not know and have been at the same clubs and places with all the American billionaires. So it's very interesting.
Watch the pedophile shit too. You're about to see them come out with all the pedophile stuff, and they're going to say that we shouldn't shun them.
Yeah, that it's not a crime.
It's just who they are, and they're going to live a frustrated life, and they can't fulfill their sexual satisfaction because they're only attracted to girls or boys between the ages of 6 and 12, and they're trying to come under the gay and lesbian community. They're trying to kind of normalize it like that has been, and they've got a flag that's like the gay pride flag, but it's pastel colors. There's a fucking TED Talk on it. I mean, you can
there is actually a TED
watch
Talk
how
on why
insane
we
some of this shit is, and it shouldn't be illegal, and we shouldn't shun them, because if we push them away from society, they're more apt to be sexual predators on children. Well, if you can only get off with a 6 to 12-year-old, if that's your thing and that's the only thing that gets you going, how do you fulfill that if you're not having sex with that 6 or 12-year-old? If you're not having sex with them, what the fuck?
And how do you get consent? So here's the problem.
Good point.
If you say that it's legal, unfortunately. If you say it is illegal, unfortunately, we live in a fucking sick world. There are parents that would give consent for their 6, whatever age child to go live with a pedophile. There are parents that would do that, and
shit. We got them selling fucking kids every day. Fucking somebody's selling their children. So yeah, all that shit's out there. All you gotta do is look for it. Would the wall be one step closer to prisoning us?
I mean, I don't know.
Have you been to prison?
America's a big place, and
can we leave? Sure, we can leave.
America's a big place, and there's no wall in Canada.
Yeah, there's no wall in Canada. I mean, fucking, do you want to go to Mexico right now? I mean, we've all been to Mexico. Would you still be able to go to Mexico? I don't fucking. The last place I'm going.
I mean, you technically need a passport to go to Mexico, anyways, and. I
thought you're supposed to have to have a passport to move state to state. I thought that was supposed to happen.
No, it's they changed the driver's license. So your driver's license. So next time you go to renew your driver's license, or if you've already done it, you know this. You're required 3 forms of identification. It's a lot harder to get a driver's license now than it used to be, because the driver's licenses no longer belong to the state. Those are federally regulated identification cards. So everything that's on the driver's license, all that shit, that is regulated by the feds. All the states had, we had like 10 years to comply or some shit. And I think maybe there's like There might be 2 holdout states.
I thought Texas and Tennessee has held out.
No, Tennessee has federally. When we got our things, we had to do all the federal shit. There's a couple of holdout states, but this is what's going to happen. What is going to happen is, and they've already almost done it. What they're going to do is go. That's me. I'm just fucking kicking it. What they've already almost done is they're just going to say you can't get on a fucking airplane. So if you've got a Utah license that's still made of cardboard and it's only laminated on one side, they're going to be like, yeah, cool, you can't fly on an airplane. It's federally regulated.
It's
Sorry.
just like your social currency shit in China. It's the same things coming. What do you think about kobold watches? I've never heard of them, man. I have no idea what those are. Jaeger was not super thrilled with the bullpup questions this evening. Did we tell him to do that?
No, we did not. I don't believe we did. Did we? Did we tell you
another
guys
great
to do
episode. You guys are great. The metaphor to describe Clinton responding to Haiti earthquake. When the chickens in the henhouse are screaming for help, the fox running to the chickens screaming in the henhouse is not coming to help. I believe one of the most powerful individuals in the political group at the Bush funnel in Lynn Cheney. At the Bush funeral? I believe she is Dick Cheney's handler. Well, look at, along those lines, there's all kinds of video of Hillary Clinton when they were asking about Gaddafi. She's like, we came, we saw he died, and was fucking giggling and laughing about it. Hey, John, did you
find out why Hillary Clinton was disbarred. She doesn't have her license anymore.
Do we know why?
Yes.
Yeah, you want? Okay. Can we talk about modular bolt bags? No. I ordered one, and the last video you had about them is a little old. Nothing's changed. It's still the same product. It's still a modular bolt bag. It's still the dimensions and shit. But that's not what you're asking, are you? Maybe show one and just talk about the design. The design's the same as the videos that are out there. I'm curious when it comes to the mesh pockets and what other pouches would fit in the pals webbing. Got you. Yeah, we'll do that eventually. One of the best ways to get more down... And if you don't have one on order, you can order one, so it doesn't fucking matter. But I think my guess is that you probably have one on order. So what you're really asking is, where's my bolt bag, is what he means. Just like patiently waiting. No, motherfucker. If you said patiently waiting and you needed to make the post, you're not. You're not fucking patiently waiting. One of the best ways... No, they're not coming. They're not coming. They're not. Anybody, go ahead and not this dude, but go ahead and throw a tantrum about your bolt bag and see how that goes for you. One of the best ways to get more downloads is to get on other podcasts. Marcus Luttrell, Lone Survivor Navy SEAL movie, and Rut have the TNQ podcast about never quit stories. Your story is perfect. See if you can get on the show. If they want me on their show, they can ask me to be on their show.
And I honestly, I don't have time. Because unless their show was here in Camden, like we went over. I know John has done it more than I have. I went over and did a podcast over at Jaeger's. I don't have time. I can't stay in Camden until 10:30 at night because I have to be here in the morning. I don't have time for it. I know what everybody's gonna say. There's 24 hours a day, but fuck you, I'm old.
We're up. I just have shit to like the podcast. You guys don't realize. We have a fucking sewing factory with 52 sewing machines in it. This podcast bullshit, you guys haven't fucking done anything to spike a level in productivity here. You haven't done a level to spike orders. I don't have orders going, hey, I heard about you because my friend listens to your podcast and he referred me over, so I bought some stuff. Like, there's no gain other than 2 man hours that stand in this closet. It's entertaining for you guys, but we don't track any... There's no orders from them. Like, we don't see anything other than 2 hours of lost productivity of the two of the highest fucking, like, there's a table out there right now with probably 50 vehicle med bags on it. Jeff and I would have cleaned every fucking one of those and they'd be on the wall and you'd have a photo of them. But that's not going to happen tonight. So come Friday, those things will get cleaned now. And that's a day's loss. Just because we sell them tomorrow... That's fucking, that's revenue for today that's down because we were doing this podcast. So, see if you can get on the show. Yeah, we're not going on the show. Of course, because they all been bought by the lobbyists, the big corporations owe them. When you guys do this, we don't know what is in that. Like, I just printed off the stuff from yesterday. We don't remember what we said yesterday. Like, if you could just speak in whole sentences as to what that is guided towards, fucking we'd be able to talk on it better. We don't remember, like, we've done 21 of these. This is 21. This is podcast 21. 17? 18. This is podcast 18. We don't remember what we say on them, guys. Same thing on the live feed. If you get on the live feed and I ask a question and you leave a comment, I don't see your comment till 5-10 minutes later. I have no fucking idea what that comment or answer was about. Skully, do you shoot 22 long rifle, or is that too boring having been a machine gunner?
I actually was not a machine gunner. I was a 0311. I got the privilege of carrying a saw for a year and a half. And I say that as a truth. I love the M249 squad automatic weapon, hoorah. It is a great piece of equipment. How the Marine Corps employed it was terrible, but it's a great piece of equipment if you take care of it. But I'm not a machine gunner. And 22, I shoot 22 all the time, man. Just recently, I've been getting into just shooting 22 long rifle. One of my good friends built rebuilt two very old. I think I don't want to say very old. They're 50s, 1950s time frame. Single shot 22s, and we've been shooting those. And then I just bought because I can't do single shot. It's cool, but it's not cool. I just bought a Jaeger. It's a Jaeger. I want to say they call it the M52, but it looks just like an M16, an M16A1, and it has a little magazine that goes into the magazine.
My Air 17.
Yeah, kind of. My really good friend Leo Herzog had one way back in the day when we were kids, and we'd shoot it all the time. And I saw it way up on this. I was at a pawn shop, and I saw it up on the shelf, and I'm like, man, should I get that? Man, that thing never worked when we would shoot it. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to get it. And then I'm like, should I get it? And it was just one of those, bringing back the memories of childhood. So I ended up buying it and taking it home, and sure as shit, I'm trying to shoot that thing, and it's just malfunction. I was able to fix the malfunction, so it shoots good now. But yeah, I shoot a lot of 22.
Okay. Skully, my dad's on the Diet Pepsi like you are. He stockpiles the stuff. I should take a picture. With that said, there's a long hallway full of, it was full of soda cans. All these soda cans were between 1 and 2 years old, and all of the soda ate their way through the soda can. That includes Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke, normal Coke, Dr. Pepper. What did not eat? Everything ate through.
John does. I didn't tell John this because he's always trying to link me to some video about human growth hormone and Diet Pepsi or whatever.
If there was human growth hormone in Diet Pepsi,
I know you'd be eating it. I'm just saying, whatever. Human embryos inside Diet Pepsi. I will say this though: Diet Pepsi in the can, it deteriorates the can faster than any of the other sodas out here, to include regular Pepsi. So because we have quite a bit of sodas out here because
from the parties
left over from the party, and then they get stored back here and
in a fucking climate controlled.
Yeah, Diet Pepsi taste wise doesn't last. You can probably get 9 months out of Diet Pepsi, and then if it's in a can, 6 months that stuff's gonna eat right through the can. So the reality is,
we literally had to take all that shit and store it inside of big 18-gallon plastic containers, so that when it did deteriorate, it didn't fucking go all over everything else on the shelves.
Yeah, the reality is, when the end does happen, and we are purging throughout the country, I will be looking for anyone former employees of PepsiCo that can run a machine to make Diet Pepsi.
The Vril Society, I've heard that. Why have I heard? What is the Vril Society? VRIL. Look it up. Skully, when's the last time you took attack response class, and will you do another one in the future? James Yeager asked that.
James asked that?
He didn't ask
that. Truth be told, the last attack response I took was 1911 fighting pistol. It was a
bullpup carriage system.
It was a good class. Unfortunately, none of the Glocks made it through the class. And I'm looking forward, guys, like you. I know you're all looking forward to the Bullpup class. I got a Tavor, I got an AUG, I got What else do I have that's bullpup?
High Standard was that shotgun. It was a little bullpup shotgun. It had a mag light and a bicycle fucking pistol grip on it. That's what I couldn't think
I got all the bullpups Jaeger needs. We'll just run that class.
The weapons collection. You guys ever use Steel Ops targets? I've never heard of Steel Ops. Shoot Steel has sponsored SOE.
Shoot Steel is awesome.
Shoot Steel comes to all of our parties. Shoot Steel interacts on our social media. We have 120 so Shoot Steel targets. Anybody who's been here to any of our shoots at the parties, for you guys that don't know, like Ackley's brings out a bunch of machine guns, a bunch of other gun companies come out. There's a lot of guns here, and they shoot all day long at the parties, and that's all Shoot Steel targets. Shoot Steel made Christmas decorations for us. I've got 50 door stops that are like little 22 targets Shoot Steel made for us that are sitting in the back. So I haven't heard of Steel Ops targets. We'll go ahead and read this. They're a local company to me and seem to be pretty like-minded business-wise as SOE. I love doing business with them. I was actually in their shop today getting some warranty work done on one of their... I gotta say, I've never had a warranty work done on a fucking Shoot Steel target. And we had guys shooting Shoot Steel targets with shit that shouldn't be shot at it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was pretty pissed off the first time Ackley's came down here. Because we had just regular old... No, I don't want to say regular old. We had Shoot Steel... Not rifle. They're rifle rated, but they're the flat targets instead of their actual angled rifle targets. And they had an M2 50 cal that they were shooting these goddamn targets with. We couldn't have been more than 50 yards away from the targets. Well, they blew hell out of the stands and knocked them over and put some pretty good dimples in it. But the targets are still good. We actually still use them.
They took great care of me as always. They make body armor also and carry plate carriers. Maybe y'all could do some business. Hell yeah, I got a Glock 40, a G41. I love it, he said. Right on. Thanks. Killer video, guys. Keep up the great work. Pull those threads, brother. Thanks for the video. We're about done here. You were talking about Darien Gap in Panama. It's like a 50-mile gap in the high system. The area is jungle and swamp.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, and that's where everybody has to cross. It's kind of the narrowest point when they're coming to illegally come to the United States. And when that news team went down there and they sat on the rocks and talked to the people that were crossing the river,
most of them were not.
Very few of them were from South America. Most of them were coming from Europe. China. They had guys from China and shit because it's easier for them to go into South America, so to like get a flight to Colombia. The TSA checks are a little easier when you're going into Colombia, and then they just walk this way.
If they could make it to Tennessee, maybe we could give them some selling job. Maybe those motherfuckers would want to work.
I'm sure they would want to work. Except for I don't know. Maybe the Chinese guys just want to go to school.
If they run the sewing machine fast enough, we'll send them to school.
Hey, look up Chinese shipping. John showed me an interesting thing the other day, a couple days ago. It was a picture of this shipping place in China, and I'm telling you, unfucking believable. It has to be 200 yards long. It has to be 200 yards long with these stations throughout this area with one poor little Chinese person and a fucking mountain of boxes that is big as the pyramid. You actually see a dude running down the boxes with another box to throw it into the fucking shipping thing. The conveyor belt. Crazy, man. Fucking crazy.
Pretty wild. All right, 6:27.
6:27.
We still got shit to do, so we got a podcast done.
We did get a podcast done. We got Matt's today.
Not the longest podcast. Rifle cases, watch for them. Email went out tonight. Email will go out tomorrow. You guys that don't know, we launched an email Thursday, Friday, Saturday. There's some psychology behind that. Some of you guys are like, fuck these guys. They send me 3 emails. What you might know or might not know, those emails show you what we actually have available to ship to you. And on Friday, you're like, fuck them, man. I already looked at their email from Thursday. We change it every time we send it out. So the work that's done and out there on the table tonight that didn't make it into the email or online, it'll be online tomorrow and in your email. And when she sends one Saturday, that'll be all the shit that finished up on Friday. So all you guys running around going, how the fuck are all these red vehicle med bags sold out? That's how that shit happens. Because somebody, you know how they're sold out? Because it wasn't important enough to you and somebody fucking bought them before you. That happened on 3 items yesterday. Dudes actually had me second guessing myself. I like almost went in there and go, okay, we had 12 of these, and put 12 in inventory. I'm like, I better look. Click, and I see 12 fucking consecutive orders for the same price. Yeah, that shit sold. And literally, when we put those vehicle med bags up, or those med satchels yesterday, they sold out in under fucking 3 minutes. It was crazy. So, early bird gets the worm.
Yep. Early bird gets the worm.
All right, guys.
See you manana.